So earlier in the week, we looked at the Transformers Age of the Primes slingshot. What say we round out the week with this guy? This guy is Air Raid. And I really like Air Raid, honestly. I think he's really cool. Is he perfect? I don't know. We're going to find out, though, in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one hail, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton. Let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. As I just asked, is this guy perfect? I'm not quite sure about that. How does he compare to the Combiner Wars one? We're going to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And here we are once again, thanks to our buddy Daryl. We're taking a look today at another member of the aerialbots by way of the Age of the Primes, Air Raid. This is 1 of 5. I previously looked at Slingshot, who was actually 2 of 5, so I'm doing them a little backwards. Of course, you can see over here Superion on the side of the box. On the front, you see both robot mode and plane mode for Air Raid. The Age of the Primes, like typical Primes on the side. And of course, on the back, you see both modes. You don't see, I guess I'm going to call it leg mode, for lack of a better term, if you can call it that. But we'll talk about that as we sort of go through here a little bit. I'm also going to compare him to the Combiner Wars version of the same character, just as I did with Slingshot and Quickslinger. And yeah, so that's it for the box. Our lad here comes with a 2-sided sheet of instructions, very effective. Again, I don't know if you really need it. It's a pretty straightforward transformation. Our boy comes with 2 of these nicely molded black blasters. No paint, but they're fine. And here we have both versions of Air Raid next to each other. The Combiner Wars is the one closest to me. Clocks in at 85 grams of plastic, everything included. This guy over here clocks in with everything included at 83 grams of plastic. This guy was $15.99 Canadian. This guy's $36.99 Canadian. So we're looking at a difference of $21. Is this, despite the loss of 2 grams of mass, worth $21 more? I get it's a decade later, things change, but if you're going to throw up the argument of inflation, maybe learn how inflation works, use an inflation calculator. $15.99 is still a far, far cry from $36.99. Just throwing it out there. Doesn't mean, though, this guy's bad, because the Slingshot actually scored super well. Let's see how the Air Raid does. I'll also note this. You will notice that the head on this guy has a silver face and a blue dome, whereas the head on this guy has a gray face and a silver dome. I have looked at a number of video clips, images. Sometimes he's colored this way, sometimes he's colored this way in terms of the head. I'm going to tie them out and say the head is accurate on both to the animation. But I will say this, that when it comes to the overall look, the Combiner Wars one, definitely not as animation accurate. In fact, I would say the Combiner Wars one is very much more toy accurate, as evidenced by the orangey color inside of the vents on his chest, we'll say, as evidenced by for example, the yellow detailing along with the red and the silver, right? Like all of that would indicate more toy accuracy. Though there are some nods here, of course, to animation accuracy as well. So we're going to take him out of it. We'll see him in plane mode and leg mode a little bit later. Let's talk about the scores, though, for this guy, since he is our kind of main focus now. Starting from the feet, working our way up. The back of the legs should be black. They are. The front and the feet should all be white. Heading up to the red on the knee. The red on the knee is fine. It's there. The white thighs is fine. The little white detailing down on the pelvis is correct. The white in the center of the body with the Autobot logo and the red kind of outlining all of it, that's correct. The head, I already said I'm going to give that to him. The Nose cone behind the head, the wings, all that's correct as well. The white arms, the white hands, all correct. So 10. I have to give the look a 10. It is extremely accurate to the animation. Same for the plane mode. When we talk about the animation of the plane mode, we should have white on the wings, and he does have white on the wings. And the dome up here should be like a white or silver, and he does have that. So, as well as the Autobot logo on the wings. So all of that is sort of there. Great start. Very good start, actually. In terms of the articulation, we have a head that goes left and right. It can look well up. And it can look, just curious now. Interesting. Yeah, it can look well up. It can not really look down. The wings, I guess you can get them out of the way. Take that blaster off. Lets the arm go all the way around. So you do have that. By the way, the blaster just is a 5mm peg going into a 5mm hole. Yes, he can hold them in his hand, no problem. Nothing at the wrist. We do have an elbow single hinged. I think it's just single hinged this time, but it gets you a little over 90 degrees. Waist free flowing all the way around. Leg all the way forward. Leg all the way back. By the way, the tolerances on both slingshot and air raid are splendid. Really, really, really well toleranced. Splits all the way, so forward, back, splits to the side, thigh swivel, knee to 90 degrees. It's not quite as egregious here with the full calf taking up the back of the thigh. It's not so bad at all, not like slingshot. Yeah, knee 90 degrees, ankle tilt all the way in, and I guess some forward but no back. Gosh, and he's solid on his feet. You know, comparatively to the Combiner Wars, kind of what's different, if you're curious there, let me just sort of run through, because it's been a while since I looked at the Combiner Wars, lad. The head going up and down and all the way around, that's the same. Shoulder all the way around, that's the same. Wings being able to move back and stuff, that's the same. Though the wing on the Combiner Wars can also move up, like it can fold up. Both can do T-pose, both have bicep swivel, both have elbows a little over 90 degrees, no wrist. Both have a free-flowing waist all the way around. Both can do full splits out to the side, kick all the way forward, kick all the way back, thigh swivel, knee to 90 degrees on both. The Age of the Primes one has an ankle tilt. That's the one thing that the Combiner Wars one doesn't have. I'll also note that the Age of the Primes, Slingshot, and Air Raid both use more hinge and swivel for their joints, which I do think is better than using ball joints. Ball joints are fine, they're universal, but they also open up issues of tolerance and whatnot. So, the design, yes, a little bit better for sure. For the articulation, I mean, it's all there, other than wrist. 9.75, so a 10 for the look, and a 9.75 because we're missing a wrist for this guy. Let's do the transformation, I guess, to plane mode, and hopefully that goes good and smooth. Okay, pardon me for a moment, I had to double check something. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to turn the head around. I don't know if you're supposed to, but we should be able to bring the nose cone back, pick the whole backpack off, and bring the whole thing up around, and it pegs in on the top there. We can also bring up his chest, and that gives us a landing gear. Cool. These come down on the sides here. Now, actually keep those out of the way. Now, the hands go folded in. They don't kind of go all the way in, they just go most of the way in. Straighten up the arms, and then we have a peg right here that goes into a peg hole kind of on the elbow. And that one's solidified in, and that one is solidified in. And then when we bring the arms down, there's a rectangular peg on the back of the wrist, I guess, that goes to a little slot on the wings. And slots up into the wings. Cool, great. The feet, okay, so I kind of like this. So the feet, let's see if I can make sure I do this right. Yeah, the feet fold up like this. Okay, let me show it on this side, because I know I didn't show that clear. We pick up the shin like a Combiner Wars, and then we fold the foot in. And that gives us our 2 feet and our legs here on the back. We can come here and bring these down, and we can even rotate around those tail fins. Make sure all of this is lined up, and then we should be able to now pick the back of the, I guess, the calves of the leg up, and we should be able to bring those up, and if I've done everything correctly, there you go. Should be able to put those down, and boom, here we have Air Raid in his plane mode. Very, very easy to get here, honestly. Maybe I don't have everything quite perfect there. I think I do though. Love this mode. Really, really, really love it. Easy to get there. I'm going to give it a 10. Here he is next to his Combiner Wars self. The Age of the Primes that I'm holding here is definitely a little more animation accurate. This one's certainly more toy accurate. You can see the difference of the detailing. For the Age of the Primes one, if we want to go to leg mode, we should fold those up. The wings back is my understanding, and I believe all of that's supposed to also go there, and this would go pushed in. I'll put that down too. And this would go pushed into the back of like Superion's leg. My understanding is for the knee bend, that's why that can go back, so that he can bend his knee easier. I don't know how much truth is to that. But, and I don't really have the instructions for this because it doesn't show it in these instructions. My guess is they'll show all the combined mode transformations proper with Silverbolt when he releases. A couple of people already have him because he came out a couple of places early apparently. So this would be the front of the leg, and all of this plane would be on the back of the leg. I'm just going to lay that down for a second. To do the leg mode for this guy, basically you would bring that down and I guess bring these out. You know, flip that up and flip this down, right? I think a lot of us kind of know where this is headed, and using the hand foot piece, we would put that on the bottom, thusly like this. I know it's kind of camera at a focus, or not at a focus, at a frame, but you get the idea of the two of these, right? So very comparable. Again, this one would be oriented this way. Some people have oriented this one this way and turned the foot around. You lose the knee bend, but it is what it is. So that being the case, and taking him out of it, and this guy's a leg, he had a 10 for the look, he had a 10 for the transformation, and he had a 9.75 for the articulation because he's missing a wrist. I would not go back in time and try and get the Combiner Wars one. If you want a Superion now, we're 10 years removed from Combiner Wars, get the Age of the Primes. I understand if you want to upgrade to the Age of the Primes. It's not enough of a difference for me to spend more than double the price on it. Like, I'm not in for it myself, but I already have a Superion I'm happy with. If you don't have a Superion, or you're not happy with the older Superion, then this is a solid one to get. So far we've looked at 2 of the aerialbots, and while it's not my style, man, both of them are admittedly very, very good. And if you're in for it, I can completely understand why. Overall score for this guy with a 9.5, a 10, and a 10, he's about a 9.9. And here we are once again, and here they are. If you want toy accuracy, go Combiner Wars. If you want animation accuracy, go with Age of the Primes. It's really as simple as that. In terms of being a leg, they both pretty much compact up the same sort of way. However, all of the plane bits are on the back of the leg for the new Age of the Primes one. And I am very curious how that will affect the knee articulation, even though this can move back. I already know how this guy works as a leg, and I find he works generally quite well. The head sculpt on both is pretty effective. The big difference is this. This guy was only $15.99. This guy's $36.99. $21 in the difference. So what are you getting extra for $21? Extra mass? No, because this guy's 2 grams lighter. Extra paint? No, because this guy actually has more paint apps. Extra articulation? Yes, you definitely have that with the ankle tilt, if nothing else. Extra parts count. Yes, this guy definitely has more parts to him than this guy. But here's the big difference, and I don't know if it's worth $21 in the difference for me. I don't think it would be. But this guy uses more hinge and swivel joints than ball joints, which means his tolerances are indeed a little tighter, and his plastic therefore feels more robust. I think it's, overall, I think it's a little bit better built. Do I think it's $21 better built? No, but I definitely think it's worth more than what the Combiner Wars was. If you're happy with the Combiner Wars, as I am, and think it's pretty much a perfect combiner, then there's an argument for just sticking with what you got, which is what I'm doing. However, if you don't have a superion or you're not happy with that, as I've said before with Slingshot, then the Age of the Primes is a great way to go. This guy scored very high, just like Slingshot, because as individual aerial bots, they're fantastic. How will they work as limbs? Well, time will tell. And a lot of that will depend on how good of a torso and skeleton Slingshot actually turns out to be. For now, I think the two aerial bots I've looked at are really, really strong. I see an argument for keeping Combiner Wars. I see an argument for doing the upgrade. We have 10 years in between both sets. So I think, you know what, it's fine to do an upgrade now. I would definitely never advise anyone to go back and look for the Combiner Wars set unless you get it well on the cheap. Don't go back and try and hunt that down. Do the easy thing with your life. Get the Age of the Primes, because they're still going to be very excellent. Let me know what you think about Air Raid here. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.